Science is being hijacked and monopolized by a select group of people that want to take it and say that only they can understand it, only they can interpret it, only they are the ones that have the knowledge, that have the intelligence capable of understanding these complex ideas, these complex data sets that are being put in front of you. And those elite group of people are the ones that are allowed to use science and understand it and then disseminate it and tell it to the rest of you. No, this is not what science is. And I'm going to talk about that in this week's Tuesday's Trees Philosophies right now. Welcome to Tuesday's Trees Philosophies. This is where I go deeper on issues of culture, issues of ideas, issues of critical thinking. People always tell me I go too deep. Well, I go deeper, baby. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on Tuesday's Trees Philosophies. So I want to go deeper on this because this is something I'm really passionate about, and that is science, because that is what I study, that is where I came from, that is my bread and butter in a sense. I consider myself a left-brained individual in a certain context because I am very capable of scientific thinking. Now, with that being said, we are living in an age where scientific knowledge is being hoarded. It's being told to us that there's only a select group of people that are able to understand the science and the data that's used in order to make policies which impact everybody's life. So, and I have a problem with this. See, science isn't for a select group of people. Science is for everyone. Science is a way of thinking. Scientific thinking is not reserved for a select group of people. Scientific thinking is a method of thinking which can be taught to any person in the world. And in fact, scientific thinking is what has allowed our world, our civilization, to progress to a state where we have all this around us, all this technology around us. It's due to scientific thinking. So I really don't appreciate when people try to say that, no, you don't need to think. We have experts that'll do that for you, and you just listen to what they tell you and pat you on the head and be on your way. No. That's not how this works. That's not how scientific analysis, how scientific theory and criticism works, okay? It's not reserved to a select group of people. It's there for everyone to use. And it's being really used as a club these days. Science is being monopolized and used as a club. And people that don't fully understand it are just displacing their own thinking. They're not capable of doing the thinking themselves. So they're displacing and they're outsourcing the thinking. They're outsourcing the thinking to somebody else so that somebody else can do that thinking for them so they don't have to, because either they're too lazy or incapable, or think they're incapable. Either way, they want to take the science away from you. They want to take the scientific thinking away from you. And that is a way of truly pigeonholing people from thinking. It's a way of cutting off critical discourse, and is actually very anti-scientific. It's the most anti-scientific thing you can do, is tell people, no, don't think, let somebody else think for you. What kind of scientist in their right mind would say that? Now, I'm not trying to discredit the place for experts, and we need experts in very specific knowledge, and there's specific sets of knowledge that specific sets of people have. But when it comes to things that impact everybody on a daily basis, and policies that are drawn to manage people, okay, say for example, we have a scientific elite, and then they disseminate the information to politicians. What, you think politicians have some sort of scientific capability that everyday individuals don't? After all, politicians are coming from the general population of people. So why would they be any more qualified to understand the scientific experts than you or I? See, these politicians, more often than not, graduate from some sort of arts program, and now they're being told a bunch of scientific data that they then regurgitate towards you. So we're supposed to trust those people to make the decisions for us, as opposed to ourselves thinking for ourselves. Like, how do we get to this point? Honestly, like, how do we get to this point where people are just told to, hey, don't think, let these other people think for yourself? Like, I get it. Like, I guess people have been taken advantage of in the past, and I don't know what the issue is, but in some sort of, I don't know what the issues have been in the past, but fundamentally, when somebody's telling you that something is too complex for you, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But hey, if that complex thing is being used to then tell everybody to live their lives accordingly, well, you better break it down in such a way that people can understand in layman's terms. Einstein said, if you can't explain something in simple terms, then you can't explain it at all because you don't understand it. So if you can't explain your complex ideas in very simple terms that a layman should be able to understand, then sorry, that means you perhaps lack the sufficient understanding, or you just lack the communication skills in order to get that message across. So you're not the person for the job, okay? So what we need is a dissemination of scientific thinking. We need more people to understand the scientific method. We need more people to absorb it. We need more people to learn it. We need to teach it more ubiquitously, such that it's not reserved to a select group of people with 3-letter acronyms next to their name. It's not reserved to PhDs and MDs and whatever you might have. Scientific thinking is not reserved to those people. I'm sorry, but just because you have a PhD or an MD or an MASC or whatever does not mean that you are all of a sudden an expert and more qualified to understand something than an average individual. You might be, you very well might be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are. Because guess what? Even in the scientific community, there's not unanimity, which means not everybody agrees. Because guess what? People are people. There is no one silver bullet answer, you dummies. And for those people that are telling you, oh, you just have to follow the scientist that did X. No, it's not that simple. It's never that simple. And if anybody that's telling you that it's that simple, they're a simpleton. And it's a simpleton trying to lead a simple-minded group of people. We need to understand that science is okay with saying that it doesn't know. It doesn't have the right answer. Science is okay with saying we don't know what the true thing to do is, but this is what we're guessing is. But hey, there's data that points us in the opposite direction as well. See, at the end of the day, all of science comes down into data analysis. If you could do data analysis, you could do more or less anything in the world. That's why the computer scientists are actually replacing all the other scientists. There's a little fun fact for you. All the computer scientists are analyzing what the scientists are doing, and they're being replaced. Because why? Because it's all data analysis at the end of the day. You have data, you analyze it, and then you spew out an answer. So if you're capable of doing data analysis, science is easy. It's not reserved to PhDs and MDs and whatever you might have. So we need to think about science. We need to think about what it means to think in a scientific process, to think via the scientific methodology, because this is one of the greatest inventions ever created. And I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again, because I think science is one of the greatest tools we have created in order to assess ideas, good or bad. And we need to disseminate that to the people and away from the elitists. We don't want science to be used as a club, because it's something that I love, and I would hate for this thing that I love to be used as a club in order to bludgeon people and force them into submission and force them to do X, Y, Z. So that's why I think we need more scientific criticism. We need more scientific thinking. We need more scientific methodology, the ideas of science and scientific thought, and how to assess an idea from a scientific point of view. We need this to be disseminated to every single boy and girl that is going through the education system, so that we come to a population that's able to take data that's given to them from the scientists and then make decisions for themselves. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones responsible for ourselves. Nobody else is. Government, scientists, whatever, at the end of the day, it comes down to you. It comes down to the level of risk that we're all willing to take. So we need to take what the scientists tell us, what the experts tell us, weigh it in to our own risk analysis equation, and then proceed accordingly. How much risk are you willing to take? How much risk are you not willing to take? What is a comfortable level of risk? I think we all do this subconsciously in our brains. It's always happening in the back of our brains. We're just not aware of it. I think this is a really important topic, guys. Scientific thinking. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope you're as passionate about it as I am. And if you are, please do subscribe to this channel so that I can help push these ideas forward. I think it's crucial that we do not let science be taken and monopolized into the hands of a select few people, because I think that's very dangerous, because that's where we get to the point where we can no longer have questioning of any ideas, because we are not capable of questioning. Because how can we possibly question something that we don't understand, right? That's the line of thought that we're gradually going towards. You're not allowed to comment on things that you absolutely know nothing about, right? So if you know nothing about a certain subject, how can you possibly comment on it? But no, that's not what science is. Science is data analysis. Science is taking information, breaking it down, taking hypothesis, finding patterns, testing your hypotheses, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And we need to understand how this is a method of thinking that is available to all. It's not exclusive. It's not reserved to a select group of people. It's not. It's for everyone to use. Everyone has used it in the past, from all 5, 6 corners of the globe. Science is a ubiquitous tool that we have capitalized on for thousands of years. So let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe one more time, and I'll catch you next week on Tuesday Trees Philosophies. Peace.